We're here. Boom.
What's up, everybody?
We have another geeky, what, Thursday? Yes, I forgot what
Yes.
day it was. My mind's been all over the place. So Joe and I have we talked about it. We every week we always want to find ways that we can help you. And whenever we have these discussions, we have actually looked at many of your channels. And one of the things that keeps coming up, of course, there's always thumbnails and titles, but there's always a problem with people understanding video structure. Either you were taught incorrectly, and so you've been following the same pattern because that's what they taught you, or you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants and hoping that it's right, And it
Right.
doesn't matter how good the quality of your video is. If you don't have very good video structure, I mean, you might as well, I mean, it's like a waste of your time. So, Joe, you want to add anything to
Yeah,
that?
I think that's really what we want to do is kind of break down the anatomy of a video, and there are things that will help you get more engagement and get more watch time with your videos if you'll follow a formula. And it's not something that we came up with. It's something that like people use in the movies, they use in TV, like all of these things. This is something that happens every day. And there's a lot of people say, well, people only have the attention of a goldfish. And so like if you only have that attention, like how can you get someone to watch long form video? And it's by storytelling and by using this anatomy of a video of creating a hook, getting re-engagement, rising action, all of these types of things that people just don't even I don't even think that they're aware of that you can do to enhance your videos. And I disagree with people saying, well, they have the attention span of a goldfish, because you can go watch a movie in a movie theater for 2.5 hours and you're captivated the whole time. So how is that different? And it comes down to your content, like how you structure your video really does matter.
100%. There's so many different things when it comes to a video, and if you get all those components right, you're going to have a winner. And
Yeah.
and it's hard to get them all perfect every single time. I mean, there's a lot of, if you're looking to have the viral hit, the amount of time that you have to put into each one of these parts of the anatomy of a video is so time consuming. I've done it, and it shows. The ones that I've actually like really focused and on every single part, they have millions of views. They have millions of views. Just, I mean, if you don't believe me, go to my channel. But the ones where I'm just kind of sitting there, just talking, rambling, I don't put as much effort into the anatomy like I should. I wish I had the time that I used to have. But there's some basic things you need to follow. I will tell you, if you do not have the hook down, which is that first 15 seconds, and even to this day, it's one of those things that I think that I have right, and then sometimes I'm like, ooh, I missed the mark on that big time. If you can get that right, I guarantee you people will watch almost your whole entire video at the end, because they're so captivated by what you said in those first 15 seconds. They can't wait to hear what you have to say throughout the rest of the video.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you're going back and look at your analytics and it looks like that hockey stick because it just goes and it just tanks, that's exactly what you're talking about, is getting them to pass that 15-second threshold so that they can so that they're engaged. Because if they're not engaged, if they don't think it's going to be good content, then they're on to the next video. And retention is so important in getting your watch time. So that's the hook. And maybe we can explain what the hook is, because maybe some people don't even know what they've never even heard that term before. So like what is a hook?
So the hook is whenever you start a video, you're letting them know what they're going to get from that video and make it very captivating in those first 15 seconds. Where Mr. Beast is so good about it, like so good. He literally shows you the whole, like the meat, like we're gonna fill up this entire pool with Orbeez. And like that's the whole title. The title is "We're filling an entire pool with Orbeez," and he's literally sitting in the pool of Orbeez. He's already sitting in it. So he
And then you're
gives
like, how do they get there? How do they
right,
do that?
right, and then he'll say, we're going to show you exactly how many Orbeez it took, how long it took him to get here, how long it actually took him to inflate, and how we got them all out of here. He literally gave you everything you needed to know about that video within those first 15 seconds and what they were going to get from it. That's what you need to be doing with your specific videos. And then right after that, you need to re-engage the audience.
Yeah, 100%. And I think people, in real estate think, well, Orbeez, that's interesting. In real estate, like how do you do a hook and how do you make it exciting if, like if it doesn't seem like it's this, trending thing or whatever, like how can you do that? And I think the biggest thing is a lot of times realtors make video content for themselves. They make it for themselves and they go, well, I think this would be cool, so I'm going to make this. And then they don't follow any structure and they get no views, or they get very, very little views.
Right.
And so you have to understand who your audience is first, and then you have to decide, okay, like it's not just like movies would bomb if you showed a certain genre to a group of people that hate, let's say they're totally into, sci-fi, but the people that you're sending it to is into,
Documentaries.
yeah, yeah, exactly, like a totally different genre that it's not going to appeal to them because they don't care about that stuff. So you have to first of all find out, like, who are you making the content for? And it's not for you, because if you are, then your mom will love it and she'll comment on how great the videos are, and that's about it. So my brother,
I'll tell you, to get a good idea, I hate to cut you off, but to get a good idea what a good hook is and to figure that out in a very short period of time is go to TikTok and follow the real estate agents that are doing short form content, because they have to hook them really quickly too.
yeah, like
a lot
within
of
like
times,
3 seconds.
3 seconds. So a lot of times what they're doing is, did you see what BlackRock is doing right now? They're taking away as many single family homes, and this is how they're doing it. And then, then they get into the articles of the video.
Yeah.
That is a super smart, super engaging way, because you're showing the video, you're showing the article right away, that you're not just making this up. And
Yep.
then you're getting into the meat of the content right away.
Right. I agree 100%. And you can use the same thing with news articles, with like, because there is, and a lot of people are like, well, you're going to get a copyright strike or something like that if you take that stuff. But like it's under fair use and you're elaborating on something or commenting on something. You're not ripping it off. You're adding to it. And so the big thing is it just needs to be relevant. And I've done the same thing with like news channels. If you listen to them, hey, the news channels do the same thing. They have really good headlines because they want to get people drawn in to watch news at 5 o'clock or whatever.
Right.
So they say stuff that, like, if you what I think what we're talking about is patterns. So when you start recognizing these patterns, you see them on commercials, you'll see them on TikTok, you'll see it on like all these different things, and they all have this certain type of pattern. And if you can adapt your content and especially your hook to that pattern, and then you can delve into more of your content, your views and your watch time is going to go up quite a bit.
Right. Right. So then right after your hook, you've got it down, like you've got the hook down. Next is a re-engagement. And this is a way that you are basically interacting with the person watching the video. What is the biggest mistake, and I've seen it for years now, and I beat this in people all the time. Do not ask people to like, share, subscribe to your channel. It is the biggest waste of oxygen. And as soon as you say it, people go, ugh, and they either fast forward or they click off your video.
Yep.
You have not given them anything for that. You're asking them to do something for you when you've given them nothing. If you want to put that at the end of your video, sure, fine, do that. But don't like, honestly, that's such a waste of oxygen and the time that they have. Their time is precious. It's a gift. So you treat it like that. Treat their time as they don't have a lot of it.
Yeah, you literally just worked really hard to hook them in and to bring them, and now you're turning them off by not re-engaging them and following through with the promise of the video.
100%. So what I always do is I will say something like, well, let me know in the comment section below what you think about BlackRock right now. And then at the end, you can really tell me, give me the whole scoop. Like I ask them a question or tell them to write a comment so they're engaged with the video, so they feel connected with me and I want to hear their opinions. Yeah. So I do some kind of either a question or some action that makes them feel more engaged, re-engaged with the content.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of times it can be just that, just a simple question or something that you direct them. It can also be something totally different where you're bringing in a question and then you start talking about the topic that you've decided to film on and
Mhm.
elaborate on that, but then using motion graphics and titles and things like that. So sometimes people think, well, I have to just stand here and talk, and that's boring. Like
Mhm.
people, they do have a very low attention span if you're not cutting stuff up. Again, you can look at the patterns if you watch movies or anything that's going along. They don't let the camera angle will change or something will happen that's just a little bit different than even if they're just having a dialogue. It's
Mhm.
always cutting to different angles and things. So yes, it takes a little bit more work to do those types of things, but that's what that re-engagement is if you're really wanting your watches and your watch time to go up, you have to re-engage them in a way to where it's entertaining for them, because even though they're there to learn or they're there to do it, they still want to be entertained with that, or they want to learn something new, or they want to be able to feel a part of a community. So there's lots of different ways that you can re-engage them and bring them onto your channel and get them as a viewer. But really, you have to focus on. It's super important you spend all that time on the hook to then just you to do a re-engagement or something. The other thing that's terrible is when they do those intros and then they have like
Right.
a 15-second intro about themselves and like they're selling real
top
estate and they're
top performing real estate agents for sort of 2017, 2018.
yeah, like
Like
like all that, all about them, and then it's like you just
crushing it
again,
with GCI.
yeah, you just like lost them again. So I know it's hard because we want to talk about ourselves, but
Right.
remember we're creating content for the viewer, and if you really want to create a relationship with them, you need to get them re-engaged, and you need to get them like it's totally cool to have your personality, and you want that. You don't want to be a robot. You want them to see your personality and the things that you like because they may gravitate more towards you because they feel like they know you a little bit better. But you can't do it by putting in these little mini intros and all these little things that disconnect your audience, and it's just about you rather than about what you promised them on the title and thumbnail.
100%. So now you got your hook, you got your re-engagement. What do you do next, Joe Eves?
So the next thing you want to do is you want to continue on with your storytelling, and you're going to have like some rising action. So you're going to continue to build up whatever it is that you're talking about to a particular point where you're going to have basically the high point. Hey, Jeremy, you're gonna have that apex, basically the rising action. This is what we're talking about right now, is that rising action. So you're still kind of building up, and it can be a lot of different things that you can use for that. But that storyline, you're still kind of, so you've done the hook, you've brought them in, and then you've given them some information and you've re-engaged them after the hook, and then you're telling them a little bit more about the story on that rising action. So it's and it can all happen fairly quickly. It doesn't have to be like this really really long process, but you want to make sure that you're getting the information that you've promised. This is where you start to dive into more of the meat of what you've promised from the video.
And throughout that video, remember that, we're still trying to sell something, like we still want them to contact us. So midway through your video, that's the time to don't make it obnoxious call to action, but do something like if you're doing a video about foreclosures or whatever, start talking about the couple foreclosure companies that you were, mentioning, and then say, oh, and if you're looking for a real estate agent that specializes for foreclosures in your area, I'm having to be connected with thousands of them. Just go ahead and click the link in the description below, and I'll connect you with one of my close friends. We'll have a personal conversation of what you need, and then get into the next point. Make it flow with the video. Don't make it seem like you're like almost putting a commercial in there. Make it seem very seamless with the rest of your video. But I
It's
always
just
do
it's
that
just an
midway.
added bonus of what you were doing from before. Like everything you're talking about, it's, oh, by the way,
Mhm.
I work with agents all over the country, and I can help you. Click the link below. and we'll get you squared away. And then you're right on to the next point.
100%. And then you have your, next few points that you get through your content. And now it's time for the decline. If you look at it like a roller coaster, you got your hook, you got your re-engagement, you have your content, you do your call to action. You're starting to come down. You're starting to bring them back to the end, but you don't want them to make it feel like the end. So never use closing language. Like, okay, guys. So, I was thinking,
they just left right after.
Right. So as soon as you say, this is my last point. As soon as they start hearing the beginning of the last point, they don't even finish saying the rest. That's why, like, a lot of times when people say, 5 ways to buy a house, well, by the time they get to the 5th thing and you say the 5th thing is that you're going to go through the closing, and they're like, okay, that's it. They don't want to hear what you have to say after that. So never call out the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, tip 4, 5. Don't do that. And don't say any kind of closing language to say that makes them feel like the video is about to end.
Yeah.
You want to re-engage the audience again. And this is where I always ask them a question. If we were talking about BlackRock, I would say something like, the BlackRock has been in the news quite a bit recently. They've not only just been buying single family homes, it looks like they're into the build to rent community too. If you haven't even heard about that, you're probably going to want to check out this video over here. But I want to know what you think. Do you think BlackRock is that's when I re-engage them and ask them a question. So they'll answer it in the comments section, and it does work. Now, I know the thing is that just because they comment doesn't mean that that causes your video to go up even more. It used to be that comments and likes were very important to the YouTube algorithm. The most important thing to the YouTube algorithm is keeping them on that video all the way to the end. If you have audience retention that's 75, 76%, they're going to continue to show that video to tons and tons of people because they know that it is really engaging for many people in the audience. So
yeah, and when you do have that, and you have that call to action, or you don't terminate your video early or get them with these words that you make it seem like the video's over, but you're adding a little extra bonus tip or a little extra something and then leading into something else a little teeny bit, then you can use your end screens to actually bring that home to the next view, which is really, if they're watched up to that point and you have a really good thumbnail and title on your end screen for the next one, then they're going to go right into the next video. So that's why it's so important to have all of this stuff planned out, because that's what's going to increase your watch time. Is they liked you, they watched the video all the way through, they feel like, oh, I gotta watch this, I'm gonna get more information, and then now you have another captivating title and thumbnail, and they're like, oh, what's that about? And then they watch that. And so that's really the goal of what YouTube wants, is they want people to just watch video after video after video after video. And if you can get them to stay on your channel through a playlist strategy and some other things, then your views are going to go up, your impressions, all of that stuff is going to give you more exposure to where then YouTube's just like Christina says, wow, they're watching the content and they like it, they're staying on it, I'm going to suggest it more. So I'm going to push it out there to more people that we think would watch this. Right. And then that's how you get those massive views.
Right. And at the end, the very, very, very end, that's when you tell them who you are and who you work for. And if you want them to do, like, share, and subscribe, then that's fine. But I would suggest, if it was me, and I think this is the strongest thing you can do, if they've made it all the way to the end of the video, that means they were very genuinely interested in what you have to say. I don't give a poop if they like, share, and subscribe my video. Who cares? What I really want them to do is to call me. And that's what you want them to do too, because you want them as a client. So that last sentence, you should be saying something that says, if you want to connect with me, go ahead and schedule an appointment on my Calendly. It happens to be the linked comment in this video. And I can't wait to meet with you. Something like that. So that way you're closing it out. They've already made it all the way to the end of the video. They have already invested their time, and now they're more likely to get in contact with you and fill out that Calendly and, schedule an appointment with you. And those people, when you get a hold of them and you talk to them on the phone, they're so excited. Like when we take leads on the phone and they're canned leads that we've paid for, if you're not calling within 15 seconds, the people on the other end are annoyed or have already found another real estate agent.
Yep.
But if they're getting a hold of you and they're booking an appointment and you're saying, well, I really can't get to you until Wednesday, and it happens to be Monday, they're like, oh, that's fine. I know you're really busy. They're completely different mindset because of the fact they've seen you. They know how you understand the real estate market. They understand that you're busy and they can't wait to work with you. That's the whole idea. So I like the difference between paid leads and organic leads on YouTube is miles different. Like I turned off all of my paid leads years ago once I got into YouTube, because it was like I didn't have to sell myself anymore. Like everything, my body of work sold it for them.
Yeah, there's no loyalty with the internet leads like that. It's more of like it's the other way around, where they just can't wait to work with you and they can't believe, because it's again going back to like you're positioning yourself as an expert, but it's almost an expert with celebrity status, to where they're like, I can't believe you have the time to even call me. And they're like blown away that you're talking to them. Correct. Rather than, you calling leads, and then you work with them for a year with emails and drip campaigns and all this stuff. And then they go buy with somebody else because you haven't created that. A lot of times these people that are going to be reaching out to you, if you follow kind of what we're telling you and you have a good landing page where you can get their information and get this stuff, like a lot of times what's going to happen is they're actually going to stalk you for a while, and they're going to watch your content, and they're going to get to know you better. And then that's when they're like, oh, you know what? I really need to talk to Christina. Like this is I'm ready. And so that's what makes that's the power of this. It's not just this, like going to the grocery store and you're the local celebrity for YouTube, but it's like
the digital mayor.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you have people that are genuinely need assistance and help, and you're there, and they're blown away that you can take the time to do it. And then they're way more likely to take a referral from you rather than say, well, I've got somebody else. So
Jeremy Blanton says, I had 2 different people walk up to me the other night while at a minor league baseball game. They wanted selfies because they thought I was some big Myrtle Beach celebrity. That's awesome. Yeah. Jeremy's had a little bit of private training with me. Jeremy Blanton has.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate you. Yes. Nate Morrissey.
We love the comments, Nate.
Yep. Nate's a student of ours.
Yeah.
Yep. So, all right, Joe, we are about 23 minutes in. We have 4 channels to review. So let's go ahead and pull them up. I didn't get those links. If you want to pull them up on your end, you can.
They're in the private chat. You see that?
I came in late, so I don't see them.
Oh. Here.
You came in. Here we go.
I'll give them to you again.
Jeremy Blanton says, whatever Christina says to do, just do it already. It works. There's people though, and you know this too, Jeremy, like I will give advice and they're resistant because they had heard something different. And because of this person being on stage, they think, well, they know more. And I'm like, well, look at their channel. Do they?
Yeah.
Do they know more?
I think that people don't understand that, like, both you and I received like training from Daryl. Like that's Correct. The biggest thing is like we're not making this stuff up from nothing. This course and the things that we teach, all of this stuff is actually from his training and his tutelage, because of the he just is massive on YouTube. He understands YouTube and has billions and billions of views. So it's not like we're just making this stuff up and trying to get people on there.
I think you make stuff up all the time.
He does, but some of it is real. I can say that because I'm his brother. Right?
You can do whatever you want, Joe Eves.
Yes. All right. So is this one?
This is Rebecca. Rebecca Hecka Hi Mecca Hiney Ho. I don't know what she wants us to review.
Okay, I think we've done the review on this one before.
Yes, we have. But maybe she's wanting us to look at her most recent videos and see how they're stacking up. So we can do that really quick.
Okay, let's check
I
it
don't
out.
mind giving a little Rebecca. She's a fan favorite. So okay. So her last two videos. She has inside this 924K modern farmhouse on acreage in North Dallas. And then she has another one that says, "Will Kyrie Irving plant roots in North Dallas? Which home would be more likely purchase?"
That's a mouthful for
Yeah.
that's so much going on in that title.
Yeah, and even the so for I'm just gonna go to the one with the 924,000. So that thumbnail, I get that they're wanting to show the land, but what everybody is interested in the house.
Yep.
The land is just a bonus. So I would make that house bigger, even having the numbers behind the house like we've shown you before.
Yeah, she's done it in the thumbnail just below it. She did that.
Right. Yeah, and and that's what it should be on this one as well.
Yeah.
And I would say inside a 924K home on acreage or farmhouse on acreage, take out modern. Just take out modern and just say farmhouse on acreage in North Dallas.
Yeah, you want to, like, again, we've talked about this, and I think we've talked on your channel. You want to make sure that your titles are shorter. They're like, you want to keep them about that 65 character length. Yep. Like they're just a little long, and then they're kind of all over the place. That's the other thing I think that we were talking about is you got to understand your viewer, and you have to make the content for that viewer. The problem is that as realtors, we have that goldfish effect where we get like 3 seconds, we want to do one type of real estate, and then we want to do another type. And so our channel's the same way. And then we don't follow any strategy, and then we don't
we
get
see it all the time. We see it all the time. Yeah, with our students, like that, like 1 minute they're relocation experts, the next they're retirement experts, then the next they're like lake construction, new construction. They're all over the place. So we got to wrangle them in sometimes. It's okay though. If you're new, you may not know what your thing is, right? So it's okay to test out content to figure it out, right? So don't sweat it. If you're brand new to the deal, like don't sweat it,
Yeah, really work on your anatomy of a video and work on your like planning, because it'll help you for when you do dial into what you want to work, then you've already mastered one aspect of many.
Right, exactly. The second title is the longest title on the planet. Like this other one that she put out 5 days ago, way too long. And the one thing I would ask is, why would anybody care? If anybody's looking to buy a house in North Dallas, why would anybody care that this guy's moving there and buying a house?
Yeah, I mean, I think your biggest thing you have to realize is, are you doing pop culture? Are you doing like sports? Is that your channel, or are you selling real estate? And that's you're confusing, people, and the algorithm is like, I don't even know who to suggest this to, because I don't know if it's about basketball. I don't know if it's about real estate. Like if it's in Dallas, whatever.
And the other thing too is that, like if there was like a basketball team, like a big team coming to North Dallas, like they switched from the LA Lakers is now going to be in North Dallas. That would be different, because that would create more jobs and interest in the area, right? Yeah. Like when Tesla came to Austin, Texas. If you were doing a video about that relates to the real estate market, because it affects home prices. Him moving there, nobody it has not really, who cares?
Yeah.
It doesn't connect with real estate.
Yeah, the only thing that would make sense is if you did a tour of his home and you were doing home tours. Like that's it. So
I concur.
Yeah.
I concur. We always say that here. I concur. All right, then we'll do this next one here.
Okay, let's check it out.
All right, Daniel Coots. Did I say that right? Coates, maybe?
Coates, maybe, or Cots? Coates. Sorry, Daniel, if we can't pronounce. You can tell us.
Yeah. DMV Real Estate, Daniel Coates with Realtor. That's a long channel name.
Yeah.
I would just make it your name. Just take all of that off. Like if you wanted to keep real estate in the title because you feel like that makes you feel better, I would just put Daniel Coates and then put real estate. And I'm gonna tell you this right here. Like with that word realtor, it caused such a problem. For some reason, they haven't cracked down on YouTube pages, but on Facebook, they literally cracked the whip if you had that in your business name, because it was like, no, you can't use it. That's not legal use of the term realtor, and that you had to take it off of there. That was like a big no-no. And I'm like, that has got to be the dumbest thing in the whole entire world.
Yeah.
But they're very particular about it. I haven't seen them crack down, like I said, like they did on Facebook, on YouTube, but that doesn't mean it can't happen in the future. And since you're kind of a new channel, I would change that.
Just swap it out. Yeah.
Just swap it out. All right. He is brand new. So let's go ahead and look at his about section really quick. I don't hate his banner. Oh, you know what? Let's start with that. Go ahead with his banner first.
Okay. So, I mean, personally, I think you need a value proposition. You need to be able to offer, like when people go there, what are you offering the viewer? What's your value proposition? Your name and that stuff is fine. The brokerage information is fine. You could just personally, if you're going to do that, I might be a little particular, but your chin looks like it's floating right on the thing. I would like,
reposition.
Yeah.
And if I move it up and down, his head needs to be higher.
Yeah, it's too low. You just need to kind of like just adjust that a little bit, but you could reposition that. But as far as like, I don't know what I'm looking at in the background. Is that just like a garage or cabinets?
Because I'm looking really close, I think it's cabinetry in a kitchen. If it was me, because it's obviously about the DC area, I would show the DC area.
Yeah, do like a skyline.
Show that as a background, not kitchen cabinetry.
Yeah, so I mean, so that's what I would do if you're and if you're, if you need more room for that, if your brokerage requires it, you could put that over on this other side, over on the left side.
Yeah, put it on the left-hand side. You don't need to subscribe
on there. Yeah, we said that exactly at the same time.
I know.
You don't need
subscribe up there.
Yeah. So yeah, that, and then I guess we could go to the about. The about part looks like you're talking about yourself quite a bit, instead of what they get in the real estate, like in the DC area.
So yeah, so what I always say is that if you have already wrote this whole thing out, you're wanting to talk to a person that wants to get information. They honestly, I hate to tell real estate agents this because their egos can't handle it. I'm not saying that's how you are, Daniel, but I'm just saying most of them can't handle it. But most people that are watching your videos do not give two flying poops about you. They want to know what they can get from you and your content. So make this and craft these 3 paragraphs to make them want to watch more of your content. I would also put something in there on a way to contact you at the end of those 3 paragraphs, like a text messaging or a Calendly, that something like that in that about section. If you're like if you really don't want to rewrite this whole thing because you just don't have the time, copy, paste it, put it in Chat GPT and say, can you make this sound more personal and less about me as a real estate agent and more what I can do for them on my content that I make for my channel. And it will literally take 2.5 seconds and it will rewrite the whole thing for you. Copy, paste it, stick it back in there.
Yep.
At least he didn't do the SEO stuff to death.
Yeah, I was just going to say he didn't have any of that stuff in there. The other thing is look for an opportunity to put a landing page, a squeeze page on there to book a call. Just because that will show up on your banner. And if you put that stuff in there, people need a call to action still, and they need to be reminded of how to get there. What's cool about that is you can pin your comments with that as well. But but you need a place where it's a simple thing, but it's really effective to do a small squeeze page where you can get their information and then reach out to them.
Did YouTube take the links off the banners?
No, I just don't think he has any.
No, that's not true. He has website, Instagram, and Facebook.
Let's see.
Holy cow! This might be a new thing that we just discovered. Let's go to.
Oh, it's gone.
Oh, you heard it here. They have now taken off clickable links off of all banners. They've taken it off.
It still is available in your about section, but it is gone off
of banners. Wow, very interesting.
I wonder why they did that. Interesting.
Very interesting. Wow, you heard it first. You heard it first right here. Yeah. So if it was me, I would tell you to take off your social media stuff. I mean, who cares if they like your posts on Facebook? Who cares if they like your pictures on Facebook where you're talking about drinking a tea and, you know, like just wrote another contract? Nobody cares. Like what you really want them to do is get a hold of you. So I would make that a landing page. Make sure that the links that you provide is something that's going to help you in your business. Them being on your Instagram and Facebook are not going to be those things. Unless you have a huge following on Instagram or Facebook, there's no reason to put it there. You want them, if they're going to leave YouTube for any reason, you want them to do something for you.
Hey, real fast, look at your channel, look at your banner, and look right underneath your handle and what your stuff is on. If you're on the homepage, the link's right there. It might not be on his, but look at it is on mine. Look at like.
Okay, so you want me to go to your
well, see if it is. I can see it on mine. I don't know if that's because I'm in my admin view or not, but
okay, where do you see it?
No, it's not. It's only on if I'm logged in and it's my channel. If it's my channel, if you go up, right underneath the kind of that first little sentence, it's right there, like the information, the link is there.
I'm just gonna go to mine really quick because they took those clickable links right off of there.
Are you logged into that channel?
I'm not. I just wanted to see.
If you're logged in, then the opt-in page will show up as a link underneath that.
Gotcha.
But it's not showing up if you're not logged in. So like a viewer can't see that.
Gotcha. Look at that thumbnail. Look at that thumbnail, man. That is a good looking thumbnail right there.
Yeah, but go back up. Like, I thought you were saying thumbnail. Look at this though. Look at your channel art. We might have to change it if the link's not there anymore.
Right.
So that's something to talk about.
Yep.
It's going to be like pointing to nothing because there's no
clickable link.
Like a glitch or something.
No, because I saw and was vaguely listening to Nick Nimmin, and he was talking about this.
So they changed it.
There's no clickable links on your banners anymore.
So that brings up a point that you're gonna everyone that has arrows or subscribe or any of that stuff, you're gonna have to adjust your channel art a little bit.
Yeah, we learned something new today. Wow. Says YouTube is starting to remove links from descriptions and comments. And if they're removing links in descriptions and comments on shorts channels, but not on long form content. That was what Nick said.
Yeah,
but I didn't know they were removing them from the channel banners. That's interesting. They have a section for this in links in the bio. Okay. So yeah, so in the long form content, they'll have it like links in the bio type thing. Let's see if I can see anything because I have some links in the bio. I'm gonna pause this. Hold on. I'm not seeing any links, and all my links are still working.
Yeah, it looks like the same. Like mine is too.
And showing the videos from that playlist. Huh. Interesting.
Well, There you
We
go.
learned.
If you were thinking about redesigning
Mm,
your channel art, now you
mm.
have a reason to do it.
Yeah, see, it's mostly for shorts because they want to keep people on YouTube. They had a spammer problem really bad when it came to shorts, and it makes sense because the culture on TikTok is a
Does
lot of spamming.
Yep,
So that when YouTube started YouTube Shorts, it kind of brought some of that culture over. So they're just nipping that right in the bud. Nip it in the bud. Boom.
Well, that's great.
That is just dandy. Well, we learned something new today, though.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole point, right? Is that you look at what's going on and you adjust it and move forward. Like everything changes, and it's just like what we're talking about is people eventually are going to realize that if you really want to do, I learned something new. You already knew this, Christina, but I learned something new through my research this last week. Is that more and more people are watching YouTube on TVs. I thought it was mobile devices. Like for my demographic of like 65-ish, 60, 65, I thought for sure they'd be on like a tablet or a mobile phone. And TV, like by far, was more of the viewership by people watching on TV. So that gets you to think when you're designing your channel art to design it for TV.
Right. Because there's
Because
that space above
it
and
looks
below.
different. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
it looks different than if you're doing it on mobile or a computer or a tablet.
And you know and I'm telling everybody this is as a heads up. So as the writer strike continues, more and more people that have been very well trained to watch television, they love it, right? They're going to look for free resources because Hulu's about to go up. There's going to be nothing to watch on television. There's another one. Disney Plus is about to go up. Some of the people are going to get really annoyed and say, you know what? I'm just going to watch YouTube. It's free. And they're going to jump over to YouTube. This is the perfect opportunity for you to come up with really good content ideas so that people will start watching your channel like they would watch television.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway.
That's a great point.
Yep. Ariel Wright, realtor. Let's talk opportunities. That is very clever.
Mm-hmm.
Very clever. It's got her phone number there. Look, she doesn't have anything in her little thing right here.
Share. We can't see it.
Oh, come on now. You're supposed to know exactly what I'm talking about.
I did watch it a little bit before you started, but
well, you're supposed to know exactly what I'm talking about. You're supposed to mind meld with me.
I did. I just told you. So right. I watched a little bit of her main clip right there that she's put under.
Okay.
It's cute and she has good personality on it. So like I was entertained for a minute on it. I thought she did a great job.
I love her dress in this, by the way. Yeah. Well, Ariel, I like your dress. I want to know where you got it from.
Yeah, it literally like she you can see her personality. She's comfortable. Confident. She's talking comfortable. Now, is it going to be like this thing that's going to blow up? No, but I got a really good sense of who she is from her presence on that. And since we're talking about that anatomy of a video, she just does some really cool things that's interactive, and it actually caused me to chuckle when she was like, and here's a lion, and then she like puts her hand on this lion or something. It was just I just thought it was funny. So
right, this is one of those things that like I'm nitpicking right here, but when you put 5 and then you put restaurants and then you did that lowercase and then you did this lowercase, but then you put this uppercase and then you did this lowercase and then Augusta. Whenever you're doing a title, it's just like a headline in a newspaper. Always make each letter of the word, each word capitalize every letter in every.
You can still keep best all word. Caps, but you want to make sure that the beginning letter of each word is capitalized, so it's consistent.
Thank you. Yeah, I could not get that out for.
I knew what you were talking about.
Thank you. Sometimes I get a little tongue tied. Yeah. Another thing too. I will let you know because this is content I used to do. I used to feature restaurants in my area. And what it did was it really helped me become more engaged with the people that I did the video for, but it did nothing for my channel. It did nothing for future people looking up that information. all it did was make the people that I made the video for really happy. And they became clients, but I never got clients from these types of videos. And that has been echoed through many, many real estate agents that I've worked with for years. Now, I know you'll hear something different. I know you're going to hear something different. Blah, 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 said blah, 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 blah. I guarantee in 3 years, they're not doing them anymore because they do not work. It's not, it's just, they do not work. Those kinds of videos just don't work, period. Yeah. There's my 2 cents.
I do like her. I do like her channel art. The
Me
banner.
too.
I think
Nice
it's very clean, and she's got a nice skyline. She's got the the logo. I would remove the phone number because you don't want the spam. But other than that, like, I like it. I think it's good.
I like it too. I like the bright skyline and the trees. Yep. It pops off the screen. And I bet you that would look really good on television, since we were talking about that. That would really look like,
it seems very inviting. So
correct. I concur. Well, she has a theme to her thumbnails. You can honestly tell that there's like this darker background where she does this on the outside. What would you say about this?
About the thumbnails?
Yes.
I mean, she's obviously very specific, and she's talking a lot about relocation. So if you're going to be talking about relocation and that, like, I would have the area that you're going to do. I do kind of like, she did a decent job on the relocating from California to Georgia, like where she's got kind of the two, but I would have definitely contrasted that where there's a harder line and made her bigger, and made California more of the smoggy, the grayscale, and then Georgia really green and just like look so much different, and like
more
just
appealing.
Just to show the contrast without having to say anything about that. They would get the idea right off the bat.
Right. Or you would see a specific line in the sand, like California's dirty, and like Georgia's so much cleaner and happier, and like you would want to show those two images. It's very similar to like a pros and cons. And speaking of pros and cons, there's nothing on here that says pros and cons except for the words pros and cons. So if it was me and the research that I've done about videos that have done well for pros and cons, they usually have something, an image that would convey a pro on one side, like farmlands or parks or something like that, that was really like green and luscious and really easy on the eye to see. And they would show like a con on the other side, like traffic and smog, or like red traffic lights or something like that, that would be really easy for the eye to see. And this one, you're just kind of like going like this, there's nothing that's letting them know what the pros and the cons are in that simple image, just saying it.
Yeah. And if you are going to go back to, if we're going to do the thumbnail, design, she's too small. And the coloring is really dark. It's super, the background is lighter, but she's dark. But then you have this historic Somerville where her picture is more balanced and better lit. So like, unless you're trying to get a dramatic, like, pros and cons, which you could do with that, like by having half of your face light and then the other half dark, but it just looks kind of like copied and pasted in there rather than actually like a design. And if they're looking so relocation, a lot of times with relocation, that's going to be like an older demographic. It could be, at least from the stuff that I've been looking into it. So you're going to want bright, vibrant colors. You're going to want stuff that really pops. And if they're looking at it on the TV, that's going to even amplify that so much more.
Right. And so like this picture right here, the relocating from Ohio to Augusta, I'm sure it was just, you took that picture in their house and they probably had really orange and yellow lighting.
Yep.
So you can use a free app called Snapseed, take that image and start adjusting it. Now, I know that like Canva has those tools and PicMonkey have those tools, but it doesn't work as good. Honestly, it starts making your images look like cartoon freaky looking. Don't use that. Go to Snapseed. It's super simple to use. It's completely free. Throw it in that. It's an app that you only can use on your phone. That's the biggest disadvantage of it. But you could have readjusted the lighting on this so they didn't look like they were like really dark and orange looking. it could really change their image quite a bit. One more thing before we go on to the next one, because I want to point this out. The video is about living in Evans, Georgia, pros and cons. Then you wrote that on your thumbnail. Don't repeat the title on your thumbnail. They can read the title. So make it very clear. I would take all of those words off. Use your image bigger. Use your personal image bigger. Show a pro image on one side, which are, would be like I said, like parks or, swimming, whatever it is, lakes. Show the pro in a very positive looking light, and then have the con on the other side. You already have your fingers going like this. So you can use that image, make that bigger, show the pro on one side, con on the other side. You do not need words. If you can create that without using words at all, which actually works, I know for a fact, much better than adding words onto your thumbnail.
Yep. I concur.
I went on a little tangent there. Sorry. I got so excited. I just kept talking, All right. All right, so here we go. We're going to share this tab. All right, here we go. Living in Phoenix, Arizona. It's hot. All right, we're going to talk right at the beginning. Let's talk about the channel banner. New videos every week. M Group, all about living in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this. I think every channel review we've ever done, multiple times, the picture is great. Like she's got a great picture. Like it's almost like a watermark, and they've faded out the background. That should be like really vibrant. She got a really cool cactus on the side over there that could be like, you could see all of that stuff. You really wouldn't need living in Phoenix, Arizona, because they would see that it's Phoenix, or you could, if you did want to have it, you could make it a lot smaller. But I think that's the thing, is we try to overemphasize by saying stuff or typing stuff out, rather than people pick stuff up really, really quickly with a good image. And so using that image to highlight that, if you do need the brokerage, put it over in the corner off to the side. Let's meet in person on Zoom was awesome when you could do it, but we just found out that it's not there anymore. So you're gonna have to find something else. And I think that's by design, honestly, because as this goes through, you're gonna see that people follow you, they want to know more about you, they're gonna naturally go to the about section, and then that's where it's at. Unless you're able to, as you're doing it, just to pin a comment or a tab or information for a link to do a call on your actual video description, which you should do. But that about section is really where you're going to have it now. So having a really good about section, I think, just became a lot more important, because they can't just click on the button on the channel art on the banner.
Yep, 100%. Yep. All right. So let's go look at her videos really quick. All right. Let's talk about her thumbnails. I'm just going to look at the last two. So it says mid-century modern tiki paradise, home tour, living in Phoenix, Arizona, real estate.
So yeah, trying to keyword stuff there. There's
nothing engaging about it.
Yeah.
Nothing. So I know that you're probably got some kind of SEO course that was telling you that you needed to do all this to keyword stuff it, to give it Google juice, to make it found when people were searching on the internet, and it would rank better through Google if you named it something like this. And the thing is that what makes a video take off is not a computer. What makes a video take off is a person. So you would want to title it something where the person on the other end would make it really want to watch it. Like, what is it? So I've noticed, and Joe and I have talked about this, when you name something inside or touring like that, touring a 600,000 mid-century home in Arizona, that's it. Leave it at that. Done. But the thumbnail's fine. I just take off mid-century modern at the bottom because it already says it in the title.
Read it anyways, because you have like how long the video is. It's blocking the half the word anyways.
Right, because the timestamp here, see, it blocked off the word modern. So just take that off of there, and make it a more interesting and engaging title, and less like an encyclopedia, or like if you were looking through a card catalog. You want it to be something engaging, because people are what clicks, not computers.
Yeah, I do have a suggestion for her. Like, if you notice, like, that if she were to add more of a blue sky,
Right.
and really, it would make that white pop so much more with the price on those. And then, really just saturate that, so it's almost just like a teeny bit more saturated than normal. It would pop so much more off of the page than just, it kind of looks washed out, which is probably what the skyline was. But you can easily Photoshop, like clouds with a really dark sky, a dark blue or something like that. It would make that really stand out. And like Christina says, if you get rid of the mid-century modern, it'd just simplify everything, and it would pop a lot more.
So another thing too is that whenever I'm looking at channels that have top performing videos for tours or inside, it doesn't matter. Whenever they're showing tours, they don't have any image of the person actually touring the houses.
Nope.
The videos that are doing the best, that have long-term success, are the ones that do not have an image of the person that's showing the tour. It only shows the house, and it only shows the price. That's it. Like, I would take all the other words, I would emphasize that house.
Well, it automatic. I mean, if you're proving the point right there. You look at the one that was uploaded 5 days ago, it has 100 views, and then 11 days it's 111 views. She has one that has just the house, and then the other that she's in there. But if she were to tweak that thumbnail a little bit and add kind of like what we talked about, she'd get even more, and then rename the title.
Right. Yep. Rename the title on the other one too. If you're unsure of how to like make the skyline look different, all these editing apps have like a removal. If your editing app doesn't, there's something called Remove BG that will allow you to, take out the background. So you just take it. It's free, another free website. If you want to pay for the more enhanced image, they can do that as well. But you could just test it out. Take that image of the house, put it in there, say remove background, and it will automatically remove the background of the sky. It will leave all the trees and everything else there, so you can put that darker sky behind it. You're going to see how much more that house pops, and you're going to understand, like, oh, now that makes sense, because I can really see it now. Why you'll understand why we're telling you to do that. Yep. And then for this one, the title, I would just again make it inside this remodeled 700K home in Arizona. Leave it at that.
Just simple.
Yeah, because you have it as stunning remodel under 700, home tour, Arizona homes for sale, living in Arizona. That's what they call keyword stuffing. And they can suppress your content when you do stuff like that. In worst case scenario, they can remove your channel if they feel like you're trying to game the system.
Yep.
That'd be the worst case scenario. So let's look at her about section.
All righty.
All right. Well, she just joined. She just joined in March. Yeah. She's doing great. 3,900 views to her channel since she joined in March. You're doing fantastic. Great job.
I like that she talks about Phoenix, and she talks about that. She's not talking about herself. She's actually saying, hey, if you're wondering about this, this is what it is. And that's great.
Bravo. This is the first one I've read in a while, especially with a brand new channel that doesn't sit there and talk about themselves. You're literally talking to the person watching the channel. Thank you. I appreciate you for doing this.
You must have watched it. I can only, because she has all of the contact info and everything in there too. Because it's perfect. It looks great.
Yeah. She either had some training, or listened to us, or she just watched somebody else's channel and copied what they did.
Yeah, which is great, because whover you copy,
she's just really smart. That's very possible. She just could be very smart. I know I'm not. I had to get trained. Christina's that smart. Okay, so I will say this. So again, you have these links down here. You have subscribe here. Take that off. They are on YouTube. They know how to subscribe. Just don't do that. Just take it off there. Subscribers mean nothing. What you really want them to do is to call you. Yeah. I'd leave that Zoom call there. That was brilliant. So I would leave that Zoom call there. I would take off the Instagram and Facebook. What do you want to say, Joe?
Yeah, if you do have a website, don't go to like an MLS or something like that. Go to like a landing page where you can collect their information. Don't send them, like, you've worked hard to get them there. Don't give away that lead because they're right there. And don't make it like 4 or 5 pages in to trying to find out how to contact you. Just have a very simple squeeze page where you get their first name, last name, email, phone number, and then reach out to them. Like, make it super simple for them to reach out to you.
Oh, well, we missed these comments earlier. They said, "Thanks, guys. I didn't know it was that was happening today. I didn't know that either. I learned something new today."
Yeah.
And then she said, "Yes, that's what I'm thinking about doing. Less restaurants. I need more content about relocating here. I think that would be a much better content strategy for you." Yep. And yeah, that would be amazing. Good job on that. The restaurants are fun. Those kinds of, I mean, I liked doing them, and plus, you know, you get a free meal out of it.
Yeah, I was just saying, you know, out of it.
Yeah, I get it, but it really doesn't in the long run benefit you. You know, they're fun. You have them there. Don't take them off your channel. Just leave them there. But they're not gonna.
Yeah, you can help people go do the real estate, and then you get paid the commission, and you can go eat at the restaurant anytime you want. You don't have to go film it. Like,
yeah, exactly. So that is all of our reviews for today. We don't have any others, and that just finishes off right in an hour. So hopefully everybody learned a little bit about the anatomy of a video and what makes a good real estate video and why it's so important to have a good hook, a good re-engagement, a good understanding of storytelling in your content, a good call to action that doesn't sound like slimy and cheesy and, you know, like, I'm the best, you know, how to understand, like, you're not going to give any of those closing words before you end the video. And your only time you're going to ask them to like, share, and to subscribe is when, Joe?
Right at the end.
Right at the end.
The very end.
The very end. No intros, no fancy intros either. They're garbage. No. The garbage, I tell you, the garbage. Yeah, the Augusta videos was fire. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next Thursday.
Yep. We'll see you. Bye.
So long. Farewell.